very last day of the month of July 2026, and we are here again on the very last day of the first month of the second half of the year. Interesting days ahead with what's going on with the Nigerian market, as we can see from all locations. We were delivered from the June market correction the moment we stepped into July, but towards the end of July, even as results started coming out, we now saw something a bit different from expectations. But what do we know? The little we know is that the short-term traders in the market will always take advantage of any market rally to take quick profits. That's what's going on. But that will never take away from the fact that very interesting and fantastic results are going on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining from wherever you are. Shall we progress now on to today's session? Interesting days ahead for everyone who is a part of this community. Thank you so much. This is Network Investors Club. We are out again here today in our live stream, which is a global live stream that holds every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And we've been doing this all along, all through the year. And the peculiar thing about August is that there will be no live streams, but there will be daily market reviews and previews and, of course, updates in place of the live stream. So you can listen up on all channels that you are connected to now from the month of August for those daily lives market reviews. Okay, so until we resume the live stream again in September, watch out for the previews, reviews on all platforms. But before then, let's have a good taste of the last live stream before September happens. Here we go, ladies and gents. Fantastic results are being released, but the market has other ideas, and that is very explainable and very easy to navigate. And I'm here to lead you on through this. Let's proceed now to review what happened yesterday in the live stream. Ladies and gents, in the markets, Zenith Bank, Access Holdings, First Holdco, among others, dragged the Nigerian exchange down by more than 1 trillion naira, further reducing year-to-date returns. The local exchange extended a recent bloodbath on Thursday with divergence in key performance indicators following Fortis Global Insurance's additional shares listing. As a result of the new listing, the NGX All-Share Index declined by 0.66%, while the market cap plunged by 0.63%. The market welcomed the additional listing of 15 billion ordinary shares of 50 kobo each, arising from the conversion of Fortis Global Insurance PLC's 12 billion naira debt to equity at 80 kobo per share. Stockbrokers reported that the market index fell by 1,617.91 basis points to close at 245,362.26 points. Also, market capitalization declined by 1,005 million naira, representing a decline of 0.63%, settling at 158.34 trillion naira. Investors took profits on HBMNG, Zenith Bank, Access Corp, and First Holdco. Total volume and total transactions value surged by 177% and 583% respectively. Approximately 2 billion units of stocks valued at 230 billion naira transacted across 48,231 deals. First Holdco drove volume, accounting for 74% of all company shares traded in the market, followed by Access Corporation. It's no longer news, it's all over the place. Femi Otedola splashed 222.2 billion naira to acquire more stakes in First Bank and therefore raised his holdings to over 25% of the bank. I'll do a video about that transaction and what that tells us, a lesson I learned from these transactions by Femi Otedola on First Holdco stocks. I mentioned a little bit of it in our club on the Discord group. and I'm going to actually do a video covering that. The power of focus when you are investing in stocks. Ladies and gents, this will be all I will be taking regarding the review of trading activities. Shall we proceed now to take your comments on all platforms, because they are very, very important, and it's important to us that we cover as much as possible today. I'd like to let us know the stock market is not a get-rich-quick scheme. So stay calm, stay humble, and stay focused on your investment strategy. Do not be misled by noises in the market. Otherwise, you will learn a hard lesson that you may not forgive yourself. All right? And of course, we have able admins of the club who will be responding on the comments as you make your comments known. They are well experienced, likes of Maobi, Rehoboth, Dr. Birich, Anthony, Siwe, Isaac, Kaka, and as many of them as can respond to your comments in our bid to make sure we attend to as much as possible. But please be informed, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is no Ponzi scheme. Let's be informed, the views expressed in this live stream are entirely personal and they are not investment advice. If you've got all that, we can now proceed to take your comments. Uguchin Windu on YouTube says, "Morning, coach. May God keep blessing you and give you health in doing what you know how to do best." Thank you very much. Luashei Adegoke says, "Coach, can you please suggest the best enterprise for Dangote Sugar? So I have some funds to put into Dang Sugar." All right, I'll go ahead to sign in right now, and then hopefully I can be able to advise at what price. Don't forget, in our last live stream on Wednesday, I told someone here, I said then Dang Sugar was at 82. I said just hold on and wait till Friday and see if it sells below 80. That'll be a good time to buy. So let's see what Dang Sugar is, because here we are, it's Friday, and of course time to see how you can execute. Very interestingly, Dang Sugar closed at 78 naira 70 kobo yesterday. It's at 78 naira 60 kobo today, and I think at 78.60 that's a fair price to start buying your Dang Sugar. 8.6 million bids, 4.3 million offers. That's the situation at the moment with regards to Dang Sugar's status. Matthew Ubem says, "Good morning, my chief coach. Please, if someone has 100 million to invest on only 5 stocks, which ones will you recommend on distribution? Thank you." As much as 100 million, you would need to consider many other things. Of course, it has to be a long-term investment. If I am advising based on these criteria, that means you are looking towards investing for growth and for dividend cash flow. Without any further consideration of what your specific needs are, 5 stocks I may want to splash 100 million naira today into. Let's take a look and see how that plays out. Number 1, interestingly, Vitafoam. Number 2, Dangote Sugar Refinery. Number 3, I will go and see where Zenith Bank bottoms out and take some Zenith. As far as the banking sector is concerned, that is my best bet right now. Never forgetting the fact that GTCO is also a powerhouse, but I would always tend towards Zenith these days. And then I won't fail to take hold of HBMNG. There's still some room to run. MTN, surprisingly, after announcing a fantastic dividend, I'm seeing the stock price depreciate. For me, that's more opportunity to bag enough MTN while it is still within 800 range. All right, so I'll go with MTN. Now, I mentioned 5 already, if I'm not mistaken. I'll go through them again. MTN, Zenith Bank, HBMNG, Vitafoam, and Dang Sugar. I'll go with that 5 and enjoy myself. Thank you very much. Let's proceed further with your comments. I will proceed now to Facebook and see what the comments are before I proceed to others. Good day, Coach Daniel Elisha. I see you there. Chika Charles says, is it right to enter now? Top up on Access, Festival Code, Down Sugar, HBMNG, Zenith, MTN, Charms. Actually, every time the market pulls back, that's a good time to get in. I can assure you of that. Don't always be scared when the market pulls back. As a matter of fact, it will not pull back all the way to June anymore. And so whatever pullback you see now, just enjoy the moment. The worst case that will happen is after the pullback, market trades sideways, and then until when next there is any major rally. For me, that's the next step to take. If you have cash now, buy some stocks, hold on, wait for some pullbacks if there are, and then you buy more. Very simple. So this applies also to the one who just asked about investing 100 million in 5 stocks. Do not throw all in. Find a way to invest one step at a time. Okay? All right. Keep your comments coming in, ladies and gents. We go on now to Instagram. I have 1 million to invest. I currently have a portfolio of 3 million naira in Naradale, Zenith Bank, MTN, TIP, and Stanbic. Well, you seem to have over diversified, so I would advise that 1 million you use to top up between TIP and MTN. Top up that 1 million on TIP and MTN. Keep growing that portfolio. Otherwise, you stay over diversified. Bought Dual at 98. What's the target sell? Tito Caramel. You bought Dual at 98. That's Duolingo in the US market. Let's see how much Dual is selling for now. I remember recommending Dual at $98. I've really not been done with my research of US stocks, but I know that August will give me such time to do so. So I may be mentioning, don't forget, there will be no live streams in August, but I'll be sharing market updates and all sorts of analysis. So stay on your platforms. If you're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all of that, I'll be sharing that throughout my tour in August. So Duolingo. Let's see how much it is right now. Tito Caramel bought at $98, and he or she is asking, what is the target to sell? Well, anything around 150. If you get tired, then you can sell. But when I pick stocks, I want to ride it all the way. Ladies and gents, Duolingo, $133.60. That was what it closed as of yesterday. So Tito Caramel, you are close to the 150 target, and that will mean a lot because you would have made more than 50%. But in any case, let me see. At $98 per share entry, and now it's at $133. Let me just see how many percent you've already recorded in your dual transaction. 133.6 minus 98. Okay. You are already 36% up in profit, and I'm sure my 150 target will take you far above the 50% profit, and you sell. But do you know what? As far as the US market is concerned, with all the uncertainties in that market, 36% is a very decent return. And if we check, it's not been up to 6 months, or maybe about 6 months, 6 to 8 months. So not up to a year. You've done in such a volatile, unstable market, 36%. I'm sure Dual even went higher than the 133 it was. But no thanks to the volatility of the US market. That's the situation. Hello, Coach. What's your take on Honeywell? I haven't done any fresh research on Honeywell, but I saw Honeywell jumping this morning. Let's go ahead and see at least what the market feels like around Honeywell floor mills. I saw it in a very happy mood. Let's see whether that continues even now. Honeywell went from 16 naira 75 kobo closing price yesterday to 18.20 as we speak. 9.4 million bids, 4.1 million offers. Whether or not there is something around Honeywell, I do not know. I would maybe check to see if their second quarter result is out and could be the reason behind their behavior this morning. But that looks very promising. What are the updates? I will find out, but not immediately, as I can't see anything on the first page or the current page of the NGX disclosure website. Okay, I have 1 million to top up between MTN or Dan Cement. What do you advise, coach? At today's price, or there might be a pullback, I would advise anybody, don't forget today is Friday, so pullbacks and all those drop in prices are very much expected and welcome. There are so many things that happens in the market. Some people are now confused and surprised. How could a company declare a fantastic result and then suffer depletion of the stock price in the market? I will explain very clearly. When these results come out, most of the traders in those stocks ride on the hype, ride on the rally, and then offload a lot. So traders are leaving the stocks, taking advantage of the good results that have powered the stock price up. When they are done, then long-term investors who are interested in those stocks but do not have them or not have enough will now come in and pump in money back in order to qualify for those whose qualification date is still available. I mean, still attainable. All right? Still away. I mean, not yet expired. Okay? So long-term traders will still come back into these stocks you are looking at that are dropping in value, stock price, despite a fantastic result. I'll give you an instance. MTN, for example, their qualification date is way into August. So between now and August, there's enough time for MTN to come down a bit before the qualification date expires. Now, watch out wherever it drops to, check the price versus just before qualification date, what the price becomes. That's when long-term traders take position, especially dividend hunters. They take position just so they can qualify. So at that point, before the expiry of the qualification date, most people want to buy in, and that's when the price finally does the last rally before markdown. Okay, so that's what happens. So for you who has 1 million to top up between MTN and Dan Cement, I would go straight and top up MTN right now. All right. Hi, coach. What's your take on First Bank? Voted Otedula just bought 220 billion worth of stocks. You know, I was sharing this with someone this morning in a one-on-one, and I said, if you continue to look at the paperwork in determining what stocks to buy, and you stick only to that, you are right at that point, but you are right based on history. You know, I don't know how many of us who remembers the young lady, a professional, I think she's in the banking or finance sector. She called in and we were sharing it, having exchanges, you know, a serious conversation about why First Bank should not be selling at 19 naira. It was a year ago, maybe about this time or sometime around August. Why should First Bank be selling at 19 naira? Look at the details, free cash flow, this and that, all of those things, academically very correct. Now, if you stick to only what you are seeing on paper, don't forget, paper, I'm talking about the financial reports now and all those metrics, those valuation metrics you are looking at. A lot of times you are looking at history. It's what has happened you are looking at. So if a mess in terms of managing the affairs of the business has happened in the past, the most recent past is what you are looking at. How about sparing a thought for the future and then still looking at the activities going around the bank or the company to know whether these ones are ready to sit up? That was how we spotted that First Bank and said, no, a lot of house cleaning is going on here. Very soon, things will look pure. Now, the same was seen in Dangote sugar, while everybody else was looking at the past with unrepentant losses over and over, leading to non-payment of dividend in the last 2-3 years. We are looking at the changes happening behind the scene. And now, eventually, all of those changes behind the scenes playing out. If you take a look at the financials of First Bank, you will know that a proper cleanup has happened. Now, they are going ahead to declare that a dividend structure, a dividend culture of 60% of profit after tax is going to be paid out. The other day I was discussing with you, some companies have that dividend policy. It's a policy that they are paying 50% or 45% or whatever. First Bank just issued an official statement yesterday that from henceforth, dividend policy is 60% of profit goes to shareholders. That's a great move. It means as much as they keep growing profit and earnings per share, dividend will keep growing endlessly. Can you see that now? All of a sudden, all that used to be on paper that could have discouraged so many others is now a bygone. And today, the numbers are beginning to tell what a tidy cleanup has taken place. You see? So, as much as you are listening to so many things and reading left, right, and center, don't just stay academic, because that's the Nigerian problem that we have today. We have certificates, but real life experience, practical knowledge, execution of what has been learned, difficult to come by. And we make it too cumbersome when we always flash the theoretical things on our faces. You don't need theory if you find yourself in a community like this. All you need is desire. You don't need experience. You will come here and get the experience because we are doing practical. And as I'm speaking to you now, I'm looking at what's happening in the stock market, and I'm telling you exactly in relation to market news, information, and market intelligence. How can you miss out? If you bought, in fact, I'm going on my system now to check how much First Bank was by this time last year, so you will know I'm not just making this up. Okay, First Holdco. Let's see how much it was by this time last year, and see how much money people have made already. Can you believe that? Ladies and gents, if I'm not mistaken, okay, by this time last year, First Bank has risen to 33 naira, right? That means that discussion happened much earlier last year. So let's take a look. All right. March last year is what I can fetch. March last year, it was 29 naira. So maybe second quarter of last year, maybe first quarter, I don't know. But somehow, some way, we had that discussion. And from then on, First Bank has risen. So in the last 1 year, First Bank has risen from 33 naira per share all the way to 124, recording 287% gain. And something is telling me, if First Bank goes ahead to execute that 60% dividend policy payout, dividend payout policy, there's a long way to go. Coach, is TIP quarter 2 results out? Absolutely. Dan Zaram, TIP quarter 2 result is out. Let's go and take a look at that result right now. I pray I'm able to find it very quickly. All right, that's it right there. And I'm going to be sharing this on the screens. So if you are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, no, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, you are going to be able to see the screen as I share with you. So that's it right there. I'm going to run the summary right away so we can save time. TIP quarter 2 result is out, and here is the big news. Revenue, sorry, I have to enlarge this. Okay. Revenue grew from 2.2 billion naira in 2025 to 2.9 billion naira. Meanwhile, that's for the quarter. But half year, that's 6 months result, revenue grew from 3.3 billion naira to 6.9 billion naira. That's 105% growth when you compare it to the half year performance. Direct costs, gross profit increased from 937 million in the second quarter 2025 to 1.7 billion naira in the second quarter 2026. That means the half year gross profit in 2025 went from 1.6 billion to 3.3 billion naira in 2026 half year, recording a 109% increase. Profit before tax jumped second quarter 2025 from 762 million to 1.5 billion naira. And then the half year went from 1.3 billion naira to 2.9 billion for half year 2026, a 115% increase. Profit after tax went from 521 million in the second quarter 2025 to 803 million in the second quarter 2026. And then if we take a look at the half year report, 2025 half year profit after tax went from 1.8 billion to 1.7 billion, a decline of 3%. And total assets went from 6.2 billion to 23.3 billion. This is where long-term investors should be looking. Assets are growing fast, and of course there is a reason for that depletion in the profit after tax, and that could mean the acquisitions that took place outside Nigeria. They have 2 companies outside Nigeria in 2 African countries that they have expanded to. I'm not seeing notes to this particular item. It will be good for me to check for it, but time will not permit. I'll be able to check for that. So perhaps the market is looking at this. Don't forget there was a share dilution that happened, and this report has not revealed immediately from this summary page what the earnings per share is, but I know earnings per share will reduce because of the dilution due to the intake of the public offer and rights issue stocks that were done and concluded in January this year. So overall, the result is fantastic, but I need to investigate further how profit after tax declined by 3%. Okay? All right. Otherwise, every other metrics looks great. For me, like I shared in the Discord group this morning, one lesson I learned from Femi Otudola's acquisitions in First Holdco is the power of focus. And it occurred to me actually 2 days back that look, this thing Femi is doing is what some of us should try and also do. Identify one company's stock and accumulate as much as you can. This is even beyond 1 million challenge. Just do as much as you can if you trust that this company is going to grow long term. You see, Otedola is doing what he's doing in First Bank because he positioned himself and then righted most of the wrongs going on. How can First Bank be paying 60 kobo dividend? They make whatever they make and 60 kobo dividend, but watch out how dividend dramatically changes there. That's because he has been positioned well enough, became chairman, and started calling the shots and making sure the house cleaning is done entirely. And of course, if someone stakes that much of his wealth into a business, he will do everything to see that the business operates very well. Whatever anybody thinks, that's their own kettle of fish. Do yours and focus on one particular company and load up, but you must trust. Just imagine I bought Aradel when it was listed on NASD before coming on NGX and accumulated enough Aradel. Just imagine what it could have become. Just imagine you bought tip that was 2 naira, as at when it was 2 naira. A lot of tip, 10 million tip. That would have costed 20 million naira. But imagine how much 10 million tip is worth even today. So I'm going to focus on one stock and load up on that as well. Okay? Everyone learn your lesson from everywhere. Not a problem. Daddy says, Coach, Abe Bank has just released fantastic results. Profit is in a double digit. Interesting take there for Abe Bank. Abe, we're still waiting. Yes, I said something about Abe that I would want to see their report and before I make a final decision on whether especially current price is worth it. Let's see. I will take my time to look out for Abe. Hello, Coach. Which can I top up today between Zenith, HBM, MTN, or TIP? You all have very solid stocks, and these questions can be very tricky because these are all very good stocks to top up. You really won't go wrong trying to top up on any. But let me see how much TIP is at the moment, because that looks like the most affordable among the lineups you have shared here today. TIP, the initiate PSC is down to 29 naira 5 kobo. Oh wow, did it sell so low? I'm seeing the weighted average price today was 27.30. So that means at some point it sold so low, but bids have managed to build up at about 20. Even someone is bidding 29 now. Oh, okay. So there was an initial shock, and people will get confused. But you know what? This is the chance. I never knew that TIP will even drop below 30. You know, I said between 30 and 40, just keep buying your TIP. And when you are done with your quantity, you go and sleep. And then leave time to do the heavy lifting. That's what I want to do now. I never knew TIP dropped this low because I'm hungry for more TIP as I speak to you right now. Those who cannot wait can be doing other things with their money. When we position well enough in TIP, and TIP by this time maybe begins to sell at 50 naira by this time next year or something like that, they can come back and buy, hoping it will climb to 60 or 70 or whatever it is. I'm thinking, and this is actually normal. The business is now trying to expand and has generated enough money from rights issue and public offer. They will need time to now create more value to prop up the per share metrics again. And while others lose faith, this is one company I don't want to lose faith in. Imagine a company working towards converting waste to power. I know the power problem in Nigeria. I know what that means. I will just keep quiet. I've not been induced to advertise any business at all. So I don't want to look like one who is advertising a business. Which to top up? I would go top up TIP right now. All right, TIP is okay. Somebody just bought TIP at 28 naira 10 kobo now, down from the 29. Then it comes back to 29 again. So it's been dilly-dallying up and down now. I think the market is a bit confused, and some people will listen to some tweets on Twitter and social media and go and sell their TIP. But if that is their own strategy, who am I? Of course, I can't advise otherwise. So TIP is the one. G Money Stories, you can go and top up. Coach, between TIP and PZ. Oh, that has jumped away now. Please do well to repeat your questions until I am able to respond to them, because the screens are scrolling very fast automatically, and that makes it very difficult to keep pace. Hi, Coach. I want to start investing in stocks and my capital is 500k. What stock would you advise me to start with now? Bookie Mayons. I think the best thing to do is to first get enough knowledge. Send me a DM on Instagram saying you are a beginner. I will send you the links to a beginner guide video. Also, links to join the group. You need to discover your investment personality. Everyone has an investment personality. The things you like, what you are more drawn to, the kind of stocks, the kind of businesses, the kind of investments, based on the behavior of certain stocks. You need a little bit of time in the market and in an environment as the Discord group, the Network Investors Club. So all of those links will be sent to you. Because if I just give you I can easily, the easiest thing to do is to tell you to buy so and so stock. For instance, 500,000, go ahead and buy Dangote sugar refinery. Neat. No argument. And don't buy any other thing. Just put that money in one stock and relax. Now, but you still need more. You need to know more. So when you find yourself in an ecosystem like this, it helps to improve your market knowledge and makes you a better investor. So you can eventually develop into making very key investment decisions on your own. Guys, keep tapping on your screen if you are getting value here. Thanks. Success Mindset, thank you very much for that update. I bought tip at 27 this morning. Opeyami, wonderful. That was a good move. Those who know what they are doing get into stocks, especially after every dip. Every dip looks attractive. If I had money to buy tip last week, I would have still bought at 30 or 31. Now that it's 27, it's a no-brainer. The fundamentals are intact. They are still intact if you check revenue and profit. Meanwhile, we are only halfway into a year that they have diluted existing shares. So nobody knows what the second half will bring. And there's a lot of businesses for TIP. Don't forget, TIP opened a business in Uganda and have 50% stake. They paid for 50% stake of TIP Uganda. And then there's some other African country. I'll fetch that information for us so that we know what we are doing. Coach, what's your take on Bitter Glass profit after tax declined by 13.6%? Okay, just hold on a minute. I will go through that. Also, I saw that report, but I'm not opening it. Okay, it's only in Uganda. TIP is only Uganda and Nigeria for now. I think it was supposed to be 2 African countries, perhaps the second one has not taken off. All right, report of Bitter Glass. Yeah, that's it. Okay, opening that report now. Let's see. Revenue from contracts with customers. TIP, Bitter Glass. 3 months from 37 billion to 42 billion. That's second quarter results for Bitter Glass. And then 6 months, 78 billion 2025 to 79 billion. Okay, so if the second quarter is showing a bigger improvement, 37 billion to 42 billion, but the half year is now showing 78 billion to 79 billion. It means the first quarter was worse, and that first quarter is what has affected the half year result. That means there is an improvement between this first quarter as far as the second quarter result is concerned. That's what this report is telling us right now. Gross profit, 3 months, that's second quarter, went from 13.3 billion to 14.3 billion. But you see, in the 6 months, when you add it to the first quarter result, you now see gross profit dropping from 29 billion in 2025 half year to 28 billion in 2026 half year. So there was a serious drawback in Bitter Glass's first quarter performance, but there is an improvement in the second quarter, and that means now my expectation is that the improvement will continue in the third and the fourth quarters. I will now need to revisit that first quarter result to really see what exactly was responsible for that first quarter performance, which is not good enough and has dragged the second quarter or the half year result a bit backwards. Okay, so it is important that we observe these reports accordingly. I'm still going on. Profit after tax for the period. Second quarter profit after tax 8.7 billion. Second quarter profit after tax 2026 8.3 billion. So there's a slight reduction in the profit after tax. And then half year profit after tax 18.7 billion for 2025, 16.1 billion 2026. So over 2 billion less than half year 2025. That is another reflection of how poor the first quarter was for Bitter Glass. And then earnings per share, where I conclude this little quick analysis, is second quarter 2025, 14 naira 51 kobo. Second quarter 2026, 13 naira 93 kobo, nearly the 14, even though it's a decline. But when you now compare the half year, which includes the first and second, 2025 half year, 31 naira earnings per share. 2026 half year, 26 naira earnings per share. So the same pattern of a poor first quarter dragging the performance of the half year when added to the second quarter. And now I expect the improvement in the second quarter to continue into the third and fourth quarters. Definitely, glass manufacturing and products pick up towards the second half of the year. And I've said something about certain businesses doing well in the first quarter and struggling in the last quarters, and then some struggling in the first quarters and really flourishing in the last quarter due to the nature of their businesses. I've shared something like this before. This could be what is going on with Bitter Glass, but I think there is more to it. Could it be part of the reforms that took place that has affected the first quarter 2026? I will need to find out. Otherwise, the long-term prospect of Bitter Glass remains solid, and it's always expected during a major reform that these sort of distortions happen. For me, I'm still waiting. I thought Bitter Glass would come below 500. It's refusing to come below 500, where I could have also added more. A lot of times when you buy these stocks, you will need time for it to really mature. Just check someone like Femi purchase of First Bar. He has been buying that stock. Stock price is increasing, he's still buying. Stock price is increasing, still buying. He bought at 70 something, he's buying at 120 something. He just goes ahead to keep accumulating. So for me, if I identify a good stock and take my eyes off the daily fluctuations, I know why I recommended Bitter Glass. And the things I see usually take a little bit of time before it now reflects. For instance, if I may repeat, they have gone all efficient. Bitter Glass is going to be more efficient than they ever were after refurbishing their furnace, then deciding that they were not going to import raw materials. So the base materials, which is for the production of glass, which is sand and silica, they are now sourcing locally. Third, they are going to also reduce the cost of powering their operations by going into solar power production for their plants, so that they reduce the expenses that diesel cost builds up. And these things will only now need a little time. We have been in Bitter Glass for maybe 6 months now or thereabouts, and it's not enough time for these things to materialize. So all of this plus new ownership taking over and all that. And maybe towards the end of the year, we should be seeing a bit of difference. Okay? All right. What do you think about GT Coach? The price has been running around. Is this a good time to buy? What do you mean running around? Price is dancing a lot. Okay, that's coming from Desel and Vogo. Please help me with some of these your user handles. Because it's put together, it's difficult to really separate what the real names are. In any case, GTCO, I will need to log off now. I'll need to log off and log back in because I've been busy on other windows, and so the screen where I have logged in to check what the price is for GTCO. Well, GTCO is getting 1 naira 20 kobo today. It's up to 130 naira per share. They are the king of efficiency in the Nigerian banking system right now, and I don't think they are ready to stop yet. Don't forget they have the lowest number of shares outstanding amongst most of these big banks, and that means easy to make good per share metrics. Okay. Hi coach, please talk about Zenith and Dangote Q2. Part of what I will be doing in August is reviewing, giving time up to 5 minutes analysis of these stocks. Please pay close attention to these stocks, especially on YouTube and Facebook. On YouTube and Facebook. So this is let me explain this. Instagram is not a place for long videos. So what I intend to do this period in going into a deep dive and an unbiased analysis, irrespective of even my own bias for any stock, I'll be giving an unbiased analysis of most of these stocks based on their half-year reports, meaning considering their first and second quarter results, and sharing with us throughout August. So if you're on YouTube, Facebook, you'll be getting the full details. If you're on Instagram, you will get less than 3 minutes of the details. The idea is it is a waste of time to be posting long videos on Instagram. But on Facebook and YouTube, I'll put everything there. So if you see a video on Instagram analyzing deep dive of any of these stocks, then just know that's not enough. What you are seeing on Instagram, go on the YouTube or Facebook handle and watch the full videos. So I can do a thorough job on all of these things, because doing this on live stream will delay a lot of us who are looking for quick information as far as what's going on in the market is concerned. Okay, David, your question just brought to my mind that I share this information. So you keep watch and marry that YouTube and Facebook handles very well, depending on which of them you use. That's where most of the deep dives. If it's more than 5 minutes, well, it must have been very necessary. And I'll be doing the same for even foreign stocks. But what you will see is a little clip on Instagram, so that we manage the space accordingly. Okay? All right. Keep your comments coming. Mimi says, Coach, is this a good time to sell my IEI shares, please, or I should still wait? IEI, talking about International Energy Insurance. Let's go and see what's going on with that stock. I remember when the public offer was on and the price was rallying in the market, I told us I'm not impressed by the hype with the stock flying while the public offer was even far cheaper. Okay, that's IEI right there. Mimi, is it now higher than what you bought? Currently, IEI is at 4 naira 34 kobo, up from 4 naira 10 kobo. 1.5 million bids, 1.4 million offers. I don't know what the situation is. If you are in profit and you feel like selling, why not? Otherwise, you may want to wait and see. Because recently, I also noticed in the last couple of days, suddenly the penny insurance stocks were trying to make some strides. You know, is it a warm-up to the end? Because today is the no, not today, 31st. Today is 31st, yes. Today is the deadline for insurance companies recapitalization. Deadline. And most of the insurance stocks, especially the very penny stocks, began to rally around. I don't know, but maybe it's a wave of this rally, even if stocks like Veritas Cap eventually gave up and dropped yesterday massively. But then let's see how that goes. If you are in profit and you are not very comfortable with your IAI, then you can sell. Otherwise, you may want to wait out if there could be an insurance rally. Coach, can I average down on M benefits or cut my losses, sell on top of my tip? Wow. I am thinking seriously, if the second quarter results of M benefit does not look satisfactory, then you could decide to move on. But whether or not their second quarter result is out, I'm not sure. So keep your ears on the ground and check. M benefits is up to 3.27 naira from 3.22 yesterday, and the bids are high for M benefits, so you may want to just wait a bit. 11 million bids, 3.3 million offers. We don't know what's going on. M benefits could be involved in a merger or an acquisition deal. Just like, you know, I'm not also sure if they have not met the recapitalization threshold for their own license or for their own category. So you want to find out all of this, but M benefits still makes my top 3 penny insurance stocks. That is M benefits, ICO insurance, and consolidated hallmark. For now, ICO is at 412, but consolidated hallmark is on fire, and it is actually a 1 million challenge stock that might have made some people good money already. As I speak to you, there are 11 million bids for Cornhall and 0 offers. So Cornhall is on full bid, up from 7.60 naira to 8.36 naira with no offer on the table. Something could be brewing in Honeywell as I continue to see a lot of deals going on. It's gaining 1.45 naira up to 18.20 naira from 16 naira something closed yesterday. Uncle OJ says, Coach, what's the best enterprise for Dang Sugar? I will check that real quick and revert immediately. Currently, it's at equilibrium state, 78.70. Same price closed yesterday. Currently, 78.70. The highest bidder is at 78.50, but just after that 78.50 bid was just 800 bid for just 800 shares. The next bidder right below him or her is 78.05, whereas the lowest offer is at 78.70. So over to you, which is yesterday's price. Now bid and offer status 8.7 million bids, nearly double the offers, 4.3 million offers. Over to you to decide what next. Okay. All right, I'm trying my best to respond to as many questions as possible. Let's go on to YouTube and see what's going on there. Coach, good afternoon. Should we be concerned about TIPS 89% free float and the directors divesting their interest? Uranalism or guru. This is the story that is going on by one person on Twitter, who is now mentioning, directors divested. So what the person is trying to make us understand is that the directors sold and have left it in the hands of the public, and therefore the company is coming to an end. People need to understand that sometimes directors need to sell substantial stakes to allow for new ownership. And then, of course, when the question of free float comes up, how many did they acquire during the public offer and rights? And what is the current balance? Don't forget also, beyond what they offered during the rights issue and public offer, after they saw that it was oversubscribed, they elected to admit the excess. That was what led to the delay in the allotment. They needed to wait, get approval. So with all of that, there has to be a rebalancing somewhere. And in order to meet the free float requirement of the exchange, they may need to sell off some of those stocks that they own. And in the process of selling off, prices may drop. It's not every sell-off by insiders that means that there is doom. We need to avoid being one-sided, no matter what the affiliation is or what we have done. So somebody has been on Twitter talking about how, oh, he sold off his tip, and oh, the stocks are diluted. That means he was right, and struggling to justify himself. You are the CEO of your portfolio. Relax yourself, make your moves, and go on. If you make people sell what they made up their mind to buy and hold long term halfway, they won't forgive you when the thing now jumps. That's why I try to be very careful with these things, because the market has a mind of its own. Nobody can come and claim that you know everything. This market will humble you. I'm telling you. Have you seen that results will come out, they look very fantastic, you can beat your chest and say, oh, this one will fly, you throw money inside, the next day market opens, the stock comes down. This market, please, the best approach is to stay humble. Just stay humble. This market will humble you. Don't go and start making a boast left, right, and center. Oh, look at the financials, it does this, it does that. Stay calm, please. All right. Good afternoon, the Money Prophet. Please, I've been longing to join the Beginner's Guide and Wealth Investment Club to no avail, sir. Please, I'm much interested. Laura Sanusi, send me a DM on Instagram. I think that will sort you out. Honestly, that should take care of your concerns. Coach, what about Charms Q2 results? Okay, let me quickly run to the NGX again and see if I can fetch Charms Q2 result. Beja Paints Q2 is out as well. But let's see if Charms is there. I can't find Charms on the first page. Let me go on to page 2. If it's not there, then maybe it's not out yet. Okay, I can't see Charms is not out perhaps yet. If I'm not mistaken. Okay, user Brainiac says Charms is out. So let me refresh. Maybe mine is stale, because everybody, today is the deadline, by the way. Today is the deadline for the submission of results. Anybody who misses today, fine. And the fine goes into the revenue report of NGX Group. Okay, so Charms, where are thou? Charms. I'm still searching for Charms. Could it be on page 3? I'll check and see, but all this results search now is also slowing us down. As you can see, it's not on page 2. So let me try again page 3 and see. RT Briscoe, UPDC. All right, it's on page 3. So I didn't see page 3. Let's take a look at Charms and see what the result says. It's just like somebody looks at Beta Glasses result and begins to beat their chest and say, oh, the performance is bad, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then third quarter results comes out, fourth quarter results comes out, and they shut your mouth. You will realize the market has a mind of its own. First Bank published a poor result and flew up in the full year. When others were collapsing for not paying dividend, First Bank was jumping. Market humbling as usual. All right, let's take a look at Charms. Okay. This is the group accounts unaudited 3 months, right? Okay, 2025, 2026, and then 6 months. There are so many columns, and that could be confusing. Okay, 6 months, 2025, 2026. Then 3 months up to June. Oh, okay, company versus group. So I'll focus on group alone and leave company because the group is a collection of both the company and subsidiaries. That's what makes up the group. So let's leave company for now and focus on group alone. Even though analyzing the group alone, I mean the company alone also gives you an idea of how well the company standing alone is doing. Okay, charms, revenue. 3 months up to, that's the second quarter for 2025, revenue 6 billion. 2026, 5.5 billion, a decline of 500 million or something close to that. 6 months, 2025 6 months, 9.8 billion. 2026 6 months, 9.7 billion. So just about 100 million difference from 2025. Decline, okay? Cost of sales. All right, because there is a higher cost of sales in 2025 versus 2026. So what Charms has done is to be more efficient. Even if there is a slight decline in revenue, because cost of sales is lower, cost of sales in the second quarter 2025 went from 4.8 billion to 4.3 billion, meaning they saved about 500 million in cost of sales in second quarter compared to 2025 second quarter. Half year cost of sales also dropped by that 500 million from 7.9 billion to 7.2 billion. So that gross profit now comes to 2025 first quarter gross profit 1.1 billion. 2026 first quarter gross profit, second quarter gross profit 1.2 billion. Now half year gross profit went from 1.9 billion in 2025 to 2.5 billion in 2026. So Charms did very well so far, and that means this Charms that used to be a loss maker is now comfortably showing profits. All right? Okay, profit after tax. Admin expenses, that is where there's a problem. I see. Too much admin expenses by Charms saw, especially in the second quarter. In fact, admin expenses almost doubled. Oh, that means a lot of the gross profit is going to be taken out. And then operating profit dropped as well. Finance expenses rose slightly. Finance income, okay, rose also. Okay. All right, so the second quarter performance compared to 2025 is not good at all. Second quarter alone, not good at all, because I'm seeing profit after tax at 270 million for second quarter 2025 and then 43 million for second quarter 2026, because admin expenses, which was 660 million in 2025, rose nearly double to 1.1 billion. That is where we have a big question as far as Charms is concerned. But when you go to the group, so it is looking like a one-off spike. I don't know, because first quarter must have been better than second. When you go onto the profit after tax, second quarter 2025, 270 million. Second quarter 2026, 43 million. But when you now go to the 6 months, 418 million profit after tax in 2025, but 2026 is now higher, 473 million. There's a whole lot of inconsistency, especially in the second quarter 2026, mainly because of that admin expense that flew up. So half-year performance of Charms still an improvement on the half-year 2025. Now, it's important that we pick these items one after the other because some of them may just be one-off occurrences that may not happen again. So from what we are seeing here, profit after tax for the group 2026 is higher than profit after tax 2025. That is half year, from 418 million to 473 million. Don't forget, Charms is coming from a very bad past, and we expect improvement, but basic earnings per share is now showing a reduction. Okay, so tax. All right. Owners of the parent, profit attributable to the owners, yes? Profit attributable to the owners rose to 448 million from 339 million, half year still. So why is the basic earnings per share and diluted earnings per share now reducing from 8 naira 92 to 5 naira 26? There is a conflict that I need answers to, and this is why we need to attend the AGMs, because if I'm seeing profit after tax attributable to the owners of the parent company, which is shareholders, improving from 339 million to 448 million, why is earnings per share? Oh, I see. Dilution. Ladies and gentlemen, now I understand. I think I spotted this with Wema Bank as well. Please, nobody should panic. Everybody stay calm, stick to your strategy, and watch well. You will see analysis paralysis everywhere. Charms diluted. You see that their rights issue they did, that is what reduced the per share metrics from 8 kobo to 5 kobo, because there's no how you will be seeing profit after tax improving from 339 million to 448 million, only to land at earnings per share reducing year on year. Okay, so the difference, the drop, is a result of dilution. So I want to ask the person who is always talking about tips dilution. I don't know why I'm still going back to that individual, but everybody needs to understand that for every company that did rights issue, public offer, private placement, they are going to be diluting. Please understand this. You can't run away from dilution, especially if it is to improve the business. So on the whole, Charms is improving. Profits are increasing. But because they did rights issue and raise more capital, those shares they issued have now been integrated into the report, and that is what has reduced the earnings per share. So when there is a dilution, you don't judge a report by the earnings per share. You go to the standalone profit after tax before it is now distributed into the stocks. So those fresh funds they raised from those shares they issued, they will now use to accelerate the growth of the company, growing revenue and profits, thereby now coming back to now gradually start building up the per share metrics. Okay? So literally every company actually diluted their shares, because you may be wondering why is this happening at the same time? Listen, the naira got devalued, the Nigerian stock market remained stagnant, most stocks remained or companies remained where they were in terms of their share capital, and that was dangerous. Okay? That's why the CBN ran quickly to secure the banks. You are still living with a share capital in naira when the naira was exchanging at 450 to a dollar. Now that the naira is exchanging at 1,300 and something to a dollar, you are still in that capital base. There's a risk. It's a big risk. So the CBN, that's why banks are regulated and they don't take chances. Otherwise, there will be collapses. So the CBN quickly fired banks up, go raise your capital before there is calamity. Okay? Now it is clear. I hope you understand now. So most companies are now coming back into the reality of the naira has devalued badly, and you can't remain at that spot. Any company that does not raise their capital, they are running a risk. A risk that includes a hostile takeover. Imagine when they open the Nigerian market now as a frontier market, and then foreign investors come in with dollars. They will just come and buy your company very cheap, straight, with just few dollars, because the capital base is quite small. And then to withstand future economic shocks, you cannot with that little capital base. That's why I'm looking at these insurance companies now, who are supposed to have raised their capital now, with today being deadline. I don't know what's going on there. So I hope we understand now. A lot of people are going to be deceived by what they are seeing, because they didn't write it here now. They didn't write it here. It just occurred to me. Why this difference? And it's clear why. And I've just said it. So don't be deceived. Stick to your guns. Okay? Ladies and gents, I've taken time to explain this into the 1 o'clock hour. It's already 13 minutes past 1, and that means we should start taking calls. But please, settle down. Stop panicking. When you see things, ask questions, so you get enough clarity before you do anything, so you don't miss out on a whole lot that is very clear there, because this market will teach some people lessons the hard way. Okay? All the banks actually diluted. All the banks, as far as they raise capital, they diluted. So nobody can run away from the dilution that most of the Nigerian stocks are experiencing now. All right, ladies and gents, let's go on to take your calls. Keep your environments quiet, and to save time, please, if you are a genuine caller, just go here and type "bring me up" so that we save time. User Brainiac, the whole of Wednesday, you kept typing "bring me up." When we bring you up, we're hearing nursery rhymes. Please go away from the noise, because that hindered your opportunity to be brought up. So go away from the noise as we speak. The nursery rhyme could not allow us hear you, so we had to let you go. So User Brainiac, if you have muted, let's hear you. Hello, good afternoon, FM. Tell us your name and where you're streaming from.
Good afternoon, Coach. My name is FM, calling from the UK.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for everything you've done and what you're doing so far. Coach, I just want to ask my question concerning the 1 million challenge. Is the idea for the 1 million challenge this for you just to pick 2 stocks or just accumulate as much volume as possible? Or just for you to get 1 million of each stocks as you go? I don't really understand about the 1 million challenge.
All right, I'll explain. Hold on.
Which one is your best 2 among the 1 million challenge? Which of the stock is your best 2?
Let me explain the 1 million challenge.
If I want to pick among the 1 million challenge.
Just as, let me use the example of Seplat. Seplat is costing around 11,000 plus per share right now. What that means is you can't accumulate much to really feel the impact of price movement and dividend per share when it's declared. Okay? So, as good as Seplat is, just like every other very expensive stock, those selling for 3,000, 6,000 like Airtel, 1,000 Dangote Cement, and so many others, because they've become that expensive, if we go back to the past, they used to be as cheap as 15 naira, 25 naira, 50 naira. So they all had a very humble beginning. And we are saying, because we are long-term investors, as much as we are targeting the best possible companies to buy enough of them, let's not let the time we are spending in the market go wastefully or wasted by also identifying great penny stocks with very good or bright future and take position. So that where we could not accumulate 100,000 shares, 500,000 shares, because they have become too expensive in those great names, we accumulate these small ones as much as we can. That's the reason why it's called a 1 million challenge. It's not, I've not heard it anywhere before. And it was a process or a strategy I was using unknowingly until last year it dawned on me that you've been using this strategy. When I bought UBA 7 naira, I bought 1 million shares. When I bought NACO 9 naira, I always referred people to NACO when it was 2 naira. I didn't see it that time, and it didn't attract me that time, because that time was when COVID was really holding the entire world to a standstill and most stocks were collapsing. So my eyes were going to the most expensive stocks that were now selling cheaper. So by that time, a stock like NACO was 2 naira. Nobody wanted to put money there yet. It was when it climbed to 9 naira, I first saw there was enough value in this stock. And I bought 1 million shares. That's the NACO that flew to 200 before dropping to around 160, 170 now. The point is, what if we saw early enough the prospects in these stocks and accumulated 1 million shares, 2 million shares, 10 million shares, depending on your strength. And then for students and civil servants, your 1 million shares could mean accumulating 100,000 shares of those penny stocks as well. Because just as you can't accumulate 100,000 Nestle that sells for 2,000 or 3,000 naira, you should now accumulate this one. And hopefully, in your long stay in the market, you just could see that stock suddenly become double digit, triple digits, and then you make a lot of money. So that's the idea about the 1 million challenge. Over to anybody who is doing it, and do at your own pace. Some of them have left the penny stock range within the 1 year since the 1 million challenge was declared public. The likes of RT Briscoe was 3 naira per share. The likes of Jais Bank was 3 naira per share, even around this time or so, last year. The likes of, there are so many of them, even TIP. This TIP you are seeing was 7 naira by this time or so, last year. So, UPDC REIT is the latest to run away from the penny stock range from 7 naira to now doing 13, 14, 15 now. So, the idea is pick these stocks we have spotted and are looking at some of them, and then of course give them 3 to 5 years, because most of them will dilly-dally a lot. Within that penny stock range, they will just be playing around. That's the behavior of these stocks before they eventually move. So if you can afford them the patience of 3 to 5 years, and then you let these stocks fly, you will never have to struggle for volumes later on. So, on to your second question, best possible options in the market. Number 1, tantalizers. Number 2, Consolidated Hallmark Insurance, Conhall. Number 3, I would go Mark Nichols. But be very, very patient with these stocks. Our target is within 3 to 5 years, they should have left the penny stock range and could be something else.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you. User Brainiac, next. Please unmute your mic and let's hear you.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, my name is Charles. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Charles from Port Harcourt, go ahead.
Okay, so I have just 2 questions that I want to ask. Like, as about the BFD group, I saw their results. Their result was very impressive. But I'm thinking of, I don't know if it's the right move I'm trying to do. I want to sell off some of my stocks from BFD group and then take a better opportunity with NACO because it's currently at 154 or a better deal with TIP. Because I got TIP this morning at 127 naira. So I don't think it's a good move to sell off BFD because I'm in profit there already. So I want to sell it and top up NACO and TIP now that it's discounted rate. Don't think it's the right decision. I should just stick to my BFD group because the results are quite impressive.
Why did you buy VFD Group?
I bought it sometime ago just so I can make a little profits. I think I made, I'm like, I bought VFD Group at 9 and something, and now it's 11 and something. So I just want to switch into a better option and a stronger company.
Okay. One last question. If you see, hold on, I'm not done with you. If you see VFD after you sell at 11 jump to 15, will you be sad? Will you? You know you didn't answer my question. You can bear, exactly. You have even used the better word now. So that's okay. Go ahead and be happy. Next question. Last question.
Okay, sir. So, there's one of my friends that has shares. He has shares in some company, but unfortunately he passed away recently. So, I know he had shares because we used to talk about it. So, I asked his wife if he knows anything about the shares. She said no. But she was asking me how she can recover back his shares. So, I don't know if there's any way that someone that needs can recover back their shares.
Yes. Thank God for someone like you. So you will advise the wife as follows. 1, she should get a letter of administration from the High Court. Being the wife, she is the recognized administrator of his estate by the law of the land. No other person but she. She will obtain letter of administration. She already has the death certificate. Then she should open a brand new stock brokerage account and then open discussion with the stockbroker that look, she needs to claim her husband's shares and these are documents to prove that he is passed on and she is the administrator. From there on, they will advise how to go about the stock transfer. You are making life difficult for her. Leave her alone. Just do these things I've told you. That's not her problem. Thank you very much. He's a good man. But he almost set confusion now by asking us yes. The woman does not know the man is doing stocks. They are now asking more difficult questions. Yes. Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Hello, Coach.
Your name and where you're streaming from?
This is Chinonso speaking from Lagos.
Chinonso from Lagos. Thanks for joining. Go ahead.
So, I have two questions. The first question is, I need to know which of the stock is a good buy in the agri sector. Initially, based on the previous discussion, we have the Okomo oil, but with the result, I don't know if it's still a good buy.
Okay. Results will fluctuate almost like price sometimes due to unforeseen operational circumstances, but the core company fundamental still stands. For example, Presco is the leader in that industry and will continue to soar. The problem is Presco will now need a lot more time because of the kind of expansion they are getting involved in. They're going to be investing $100 million to expand into Ogun State. That means it's like someone who is planting a bamboo tree. Bamboo tree will not mature like the one who is planting corn that needs only about 6 months to start reaping the harvest. So that is just the difference. Now, if you are very strict about agric and you are not satisfied with what you think is going to happen, especially with the likes of Okomo, seeing that even Presco may need some time before any major movement happens, why not look the way of FTN Cocoa? That's another agric stock that could really make some serious moves. Again, if you are looking for stability and dividend, then you can't run away from Okomo and Presco, with Presco being the leader. So, up to you. Thank you very much.
The next question is about HBM. One code, that's HBM one code. Do you think it's still a stock to dive in right now? It's like chasing a running trade? I don't know.
Well. If there's anything to get HBM to retreat, it will be the markdown. The markdown of the dividend, interim dividend that they declared. The only time that I would say, okay, the stock price may decline is, and best to buy is post markdown, which means you will not qualify for the dividend if you wait till markdown. Otherwise, HBM, in my own estimation, should be by this time next year a 500 naira stock. Very simple. So based on these, you can decide. That's why a lot of times, if you are a long term, that's why I love long-term investing. And I'm not exempted from the experience of you buy a stock, it declines. Nobody can predict the market. So even me can get into a stock, the price will decline. It's part of it. Femi Otedola loaded off First Bank when he first jumped to 90 naira. After he loaded off, the June correction came and it declined. But he continued buying and buying and buying. It's at 120 something. Where he's looking is different from where every other person is looking. So everybody play your game according to your investment goal and see how it pans out. So as it stands now, whatever you are buying long term, you are only just trying to get the best possible bargain at the moment. In the long run, you will forget that you were struggling to buy it cheaper.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Don't forget also the MD of Fidelity Bank. She's a woman. I forgot her name. She bought Fidelity. She packed Fidelity over 300 million naira worth of Fidelity last year at 25 naira. Up till now, Fidelity has been selling way below the 25 she bought. So nobody is exempted. Okay? All right. Keep the comments coming in. If you want to be called on, please just indicate, tell me, call me up. Benny, next caller. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, coach. My name is Benedict. I'm calling from the UK.
Ben from UK, thanks for joining. Go ahead.
I will always say, I say thank you so much for the sense of financial direction you've given to most of us, and we're very much grateful for this. Earlier, you were, I think, advising someone about mutual benefits, and I have up to 1 million units mutual benefits, and the result of your life, I was a little bit skeptic if that is where to remain. However, I have, so I was thinking if I should put them off and take them to other place where I felt it would be a lot of that hold a lot of prospect, which is down sugar, tea, and Macnico. I have tea of about 800,000 units and down sugar of 40,000 units. I don't have Macnico. So what's your thoughts, sir?
Well, I don't think it's wiser rather to move to a down sugar than to move to a Macnicos from mutual benefits, because they are all penny stocks and 1 million challenge stocks. In any case, that's why I keep re-emphasizing, if you are doing a 1 million challenge with any stock, you have to be able to give it the time. But again, if you feel you've seen a better opportunity and you want to sell, nothing wrong at all. You can offload, buy that one. Later on, you come back to any other 1 million challenge stock or any other stock at all that you feel like getting. It's not cast in stone also that you must hold onto a 1 million challenge stock. The conditions were given, the criteria was given. It's up to you to now run. The problem is a lot of people are too quick in their expectations, and it may be counterproductive for the purpose of the challenge. But it's not an issue at all. You already have a mindset that you could still buy Macnicos, for example, which means you are sold as far as that project 1 million challenge is concerned. So feel free, jump into a Dangote sugar that you do not have at all, because you've got to have it. Thank you very much. Jupi, next caller. Please keep your environment quiet and let's have a conversation. Hello.
Hi, Coach.
Good afternoon. Your name and where you're streaming from?
Good afternoon, Coach. My name is Jude. Streaming from London.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks
Go
for
ahead.
your efforts, Coach. Thanks for everything you do. You've been a great deal to learn for us. Coach, I've just exited my position in Japan, and I thought of what you said earlier today, that one can accumulate any company you think is doing well and just keep accumulating. I'm torn between UB and Zenith, which I have very little of. What's your advice, Coach?
Between the both, I definitely would go with Zenith, which has everything to keep performing and outperforming. But with UBA, it becomes a 50-50 what to expect, considering the antecedents of the leadership. Whether or not they improve their dividend is the final deal breaker. If they are able to start paying dividends, then every investment in UBA is worth the while, because suddenly you could see a jump in the value of your investment from the 40 naira it is, or 45 it is now, to somewhere within 60, 80 a year from now. But all of that now depends on, are they free now to start paying dividend, beginning with interim dividend payments. In the notice of board meeting they publicized, it was indicated that that was going to be one of the agenda in that board meeting. But again, they had the agenda to pay for the full year final dividend, but were restricted by the CBN. Whether or not that happens again is only going to need us to know in a matter of time. Should that happen, that they now can pay dividends, UBA will never sell below 50 naira. Then again, if they go ahead and still be restricted, then UBA becomes stagnated. That's where the 50-50 situation with UBA is.
The reason why it's all for me is because UBA is cheaper, I'll be able to accumulate more compared to Zenith.
So this is how to go about it. Go all in for the UBA and stay the course. Worst case, they don't announce a dividend, interim dividend, and they finally end up with a final dividend, and then the UBA gets re-rated upwards to your advantage.
Okay, coach, thanks. The last choice, or should I go all in for down sugar? I don't have it at all. I've never had down sugar.
Down sugar, no brainer. Go all in.
Thank you, coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, coach. Thank you.
If you want to be called, please indicate on the comments so we save time. This is the best way to go about it. Comrade Zax, I'm seeing you are asking to be called up, but I'm not seeing you on the queue. You must have to have dialed in for me to be able to engage with you. Coach, you take on your take concerning my 50k units of fidelity to buy HBM, then accumulate or top sugar or tip. Time for portfolio rebalancing and realignments, and of course, if you want to sell your fidelity, you can sell. Again, the same scenario with UBA I just explained is what's applicable with the likes of fidelity also. Ability to pay dividend and the stock price jumps. But if they still haven't cleared their NPL and forbearance outstandings, then the CBN will not permit, and that means it stays stagnated. So up to you now to decide. Well, I'm no longer going to wait, and whatever fidelity does after now, I will have no regret. At that point, you proceed. Then you accumulate sugar instead of HBM, because you'll be able to acquire more sugar than you would have with HBM or tip. Please, which bank stock is good to buy for longer term? That's coming from Demisius. For longer term, Zenith, GTB, or First Bank. Between Zenith and GT, and I will go for Zenith. Wallex, Bonema, I want to be called. Ojux, I want to be called. Okay, let me take them one after the other. Wallex, Ojux, and handmade footwears in Lagos. Right. Wallex is already on top. No, your voice is too low. Please pump up the volume. Better, good afternoon. Tell us your name and where you're streaming from. All right, Stockholm, Sweden. Go on, sir. I'm not yet in Singapore next month. Fits in.
I guess from Charles, but I'm trying to really focus on the three of them. I have about 50,000 Zenith, about 50,000 UBA, so about 20,000 Tito. Charles, I think I have about 100,000 of it, but I want to shrink them down a little bit to about 3 or 4 shares and just focus on them. Personal questions.
How many stocks do you have?
In total?
Yes. While we're waiting for him, Big Money says, Coach, please, I have 10,000 units of Boa cement. My average cost is 310, although I bought at 305. Can I sell and take position in HBMNG? No. Stick to your Boa. Yes, go ahead, sir. Yes, I can. And you want to reduce them to just 3? Okay, you can't. What's the value of the portfolio? $24 million. I would say instead of 3, make it 5. Do not be overexposed in the banking sector. So Zenith and GTCO is enough. You can add your Danks sugar. Yes, that's what I mean. You can add the Danks sugar, and then how many feeds in do you have? Feeds in is about, I have about 38,000. Yeah. The feeding result I saw wasn't very impressive. So I don't know if you need to add more or there's no need. Because all the other stocks ahead, why don't you have MTN? Add down sugar, MTN, and UACL. Finish. Sell the rest. GTCO. That and yes. Yes, and let the portfolio be solid and grow. Then you can focus on, you want to do 1 million challenge. I count 1 million challenge stocks separately. Oh, okay. Enjoy. Perfect. Thank you. Ojukes, next caller. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Coach. Good morning. My name is Ojukes. I'm calling from Canada. I have a few questions. First off, thank you for all you do. I can't stop appreciating you for the help and how you're trying to pull everybody out of poverty. You've been doing a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My first question is, I have a property I love to dispose. I just need one stock to put 10 million naira. Just one stock.
One stock, 10 million.
Yeah. I really think the 1 million challenge, the chance, deep, and it's
One stock, 10 million. Do you have Dangote sugar?
yes, about 100,000.
Okay. One stock, 10 million. Custodian.
Custodian insurance.
Custodian investments.
Investments. Okay.
How many financial services stocks do you have?
3. GT, Zenith, GT 100,000, Zenith 100,000, UDA 500,000.
Stay action on custodian. Because custodian is financial services, not just investment anymore. Between Vitafoam and UACN, you've got to pick one, and I'd like you to make that decision.
Okay, I have UACN.
Then go. How many UACN?
I think I have about 50,000. I bought at 30 naira or so.
Oh, you bought at 30. It's now 170 something or 80 something. Well. Make up your mind. Either you are topping up that UACN and balancing with Vitafoam, or you are going all in on Vitafoam.
Second question. Let me just ask them. Second question, do I leave my UBA or dispose? Then the last question, I have an investment I left in Nigeria for a while now. That's about $15,000. I just use it as a form of money market. I also do money market investment. Could I liquidate and move to stock or just let it fly?
Money market in USD. What's the return? How many percent per annum?
8%.
8% per annum. Stock market can always grow that money to the highest possible run.
It was about 60,000. So
I think
50 and did and put it in the stock market. Now it's over 150 million.
Oh, you see that?
I'm trying to, do I just leave it as a form of that?
Well,
I say, let me leave the 10,000 as a form
yes,
of
if you pulled 50 from 60, then leave it there.
Then on the UBA, should I liquidate or leave?
Please hold your UBA.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you. Go, Donald Ngam, next caller. Fina Don, Coach. Yes, please.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon. Yes, Donald, tell us where you're streaming from and let's go ahead.
My name is Donald. I'm streaming from Abuja.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So my question is with two things. My portfolio last stock has been a pain in my head, and I'm down 26.62%. And I just go through the report, and I just saw that they were not only paying dividends, and it got me wondering. I was just calculating what to do next with the stock. I know I'm in for a long term because I've already completed my 1 million challenge with it, but it's kind of slowing down my portfolio a whole lot.
You are down 20-something percent, and the question is, it doesn't feel good at all the time if you are down in a particular stock. But sometimes your other wins helps you to look away until at the appropriate time when a stock rebounds. Now, with the report, as far as QTix is concerned, a quick rebound may not be easy to come by unless there's a general market rally that drags everything back up. So for me now, my advice to you who feels this way is you can exit that stock, but try and see how much you can claw back in the process of exiting. In other words, could there be a rally to bring it close to 3 naira plus and then you offload instead of just dumping everything where it is right now? because it's looking like it's already at the bottom. This was a QT that sold at 260 and then it's at 270 at some point today, meaning the stock just decided I have seen enough and it went up to 270. So I don't like selling at the bottom because usually what happens with selling at the bottom is the moment you just sell, that stock now just jumps back in a couple of weeks higher than you sold. So it now makes it even more painful. Thank you very much. Handmade footwear in Lagos. Next caller. Can you unmute and let's have a conversation?
Yes, coach.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm calling from Lagos. It's so great to actually talk to you. And
Looks like we lost her there. Coach, about corn oil. Fina, it's not corn oil, it's corn hull.
hello, coach, can you hear me?
Okay, we lost you at some point. Please refresh.
Okay, so I said I started investing in the stock market some couple of months back, which was like last year. And then I was just getting some stocks because I didn't really have so much knowledge about it, even though I was like doing some little bit of research. Then some months early this year, I got to know about your channel, and then I started following up and learning more about stocks. So now my question is, I have some couple of stocks at the moment, and I want to find out if I should top up on these stocks that I have, or if I should get more stocks like the Dangote sugar you talked about. So let me just give you a list of current stocks I have. I have UBA 1,500 units, TIP 1,000 units, Ukomo 20 units, Dangote Cement 20 units.
How many stocks do you have? How many stocks do you have in your portfolio?
Six.
Okay. Go on.
Yeah, so I have Aradel and I have ATN, and they're actually like very minute units. So I want to know if I should top up on these ones or if I should buy more.
What's the value of your current portfolio size? Current value of your portfolio is how much? How much is your portfolio size?
Hello, coach, can you hear me?
How much is your portfolio size? All right. Doesn't look like we can make progress. She keeps going off, but if we know how much the portfolio size is, we'll know to what extent she's over diversified because she has 6 stocks. Looks like the quantity is also little. Obviously, not a fault of hers. She was picking stocks based on research here and there. Let's learn to accumulate. So what I advise you is sell off those stocks with the least quantity because you've mentioned some good stocks. Unfortunately, we lost you there. So I really cannot give a final update about what to buy, what to hold, and what to sell before going for Dangote cement. But if it's fresh, Dangote sugar. Or if it's fresh funds, why not? Okay, Wealthy by the Wall says we have TIP in Uganda and Namibia, sir. I see. I knew it was 2 African countries. I wasn't too sure of the second one. I was only very sure of Uganda. And whether Namibia has taken off or not, we will find out. But you see that tip? Relax. All right. Diran Wobi says, Coach, I have been typing. Please respond. Good morning. Between Aradel, Okomo, Presco, which stock will you advised me to do. This thing just keeps popping up. Which stock will you advise me to get for 500k? Or any other good one you can recommend? Between Aradel and Okomo, you've already picked two to pick from, so I'll go with Aradel. Okay? Theo Lalicious says, Coach, I have 4 million to invest for my 5-year-old. Do you advise I buy stock for him? If yes, which stock? 4 million for a 5-year-old. Yes, buy stocks. What stocks to buy? I think you can buy that child a UBA, put 2 million there, and then buy tip and tantalizers with the balance. Tip and tantalizers with the balance. Thank you. Next caller. Who needs to be called up? Type on the comments so I can bring you up. J Ace. J Ace, I can't see you on the queue. Okay, I found you there. Let's go. Chudi also needs to be called up. Chudi. Joker also needs to be called up.
Hello, Coach.
Hello. Good afternoon. Tell us your name and where you're streaming from.
Hello, Coach. My name is Jay Ace. I'm streaming from China. I've got 2 questions. The first one is, I've been trying to get hold of my child's dividend since last November. I talked to Atlas. They're trying, but nothing has come out of it. So I've reached out 2 times to pay dividends. That's the first one. And I've also written to the registrar, first registrars. I copied SEC. I also copied Atlas. Well, there's nothing coming forth. Secondly, I've got $1 million to top up my daughter's. I need to buy a new stock for my daughter. What do you reckon? Thank you.
First, with regards to your unclaimed dividends, it's not the stockbroker you should be approaching. Should be the registrars of the company. Have you gotten a word from the registrars yet?
I'm done, Coach.
Have you got a word from the registrars? The stockbroker cannot help you with your unclaimed dividends if you have not gotten in touch with the registrars.
Yes, I think.
Then the other one is stock for your daughter. If you do not have consolidated hallmark for her, that's okay.
Not really. Even because I got them through Atlas, so I sent an email to Atlas and called them. They're trying to help me as well.
Okay.
They've not replied.
Okay, do them a reminder and
They've not replied.
If you do them a reminder and
I've written them like 5 times.
Oh.
I copied Atlas, I copied SEC. I've done that since last November. The last 4 weeks I've been writing them like twice a week.
This is really serious. Well, you have to do another reminder telling them you will petition SEC if they don't respond.
Yeah.
Okay? Chudi, next caller, please unmute and let's do this fast. Your name and where you're streaming from and on to your question.
Hello, Coach. us and the inspiration you've been giving to us. I'm so grateful.
My pleasure. Go on.
So currently I have like 24 million naira. I want to invest in like 5 to 6 stocks. And I'm thinking about Paradel, Dangote Sugar Refinery, Custodian, the Initiates, as well as maybe fertilizer or something like that. So I want to know, am I on the right track or
Absolutely on the right track with the first three. You mentioned Aradel, you mentioned what's the second one you mentioned? Custodian, Diamond Sugar, the Initiate. So you mentioned 4 very good ones, and I would say at Zenith. That makes it 5.
And also, is fertilizer okay to maybe get?
Absolutely a fantastic 1 million challenge stock. Take your time to build that up, even if it doesn't fit into the current disposable capital.
Okay, thank you. And also, between Dangote Sugar and PZ, I'm kind of pondering between which one I should choose. Do you think they're kind of similar? I don't know.
What?
Between Dangote Sugar Refinery and PZ Cushions.
They are in the same industry, consumer goods, but not really similar.
Okay.
You know, PZ is in one location in Nigeria. Dangote Sugar is a multinational because they also have a sugar refinery in Ghana.
Okay.
So there are 2 different in terms of size and operations and of course business, but they're in the same industry.
As well as NASCOM, I think so.
Yes, NASCOM is also only in Nigeria though, but a member of the Dangote group.
Okay, so to say, Dangote Sugar Refinery, I don't know, feels like it's the winner of these 3. That's what I think.
For me, NASCOM is on another level. Dangote Sugar Refinery is only trying to catch up with lost time.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ajoke, tell us where you're streaming from and on to your question. Yes, please. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Coach. Streaming from Lagos.
All right, Ajoke, go ahead.
Streaming from Lagos. Yeah, thank you so much. Coach, please, I just want to ask you. I have my Zenith is 5,000 units and my Chipsico is 5,000 units, and TIP is 50,000 units, and I have 1.2 million. So I'm a bit confused. I don't know if I should do top up or buy down sugar.
Buy down sugar.
Okay, and I also have my end benefit is below the cost price, my entry price. Should I have more to my tip and the end benefit? Because now is below my entry price. And I have 150 units of end benefit and 50,000 of tip. And at the moment it's below my entry price.
Do exactly as you intend. Still buy. So you automatically reduce your entry price below what you did earlier. Thank you very much, Ajoke. You are doing well. Just stay patient, stay disciplined, and we'll be happy you did. Thank you. Mr. Hello, Chuks Okwesa. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
I celebrate you, sir. Tell us.
Coach, I really appreciate all you have been doing. I remember when you advised me to buy First Bank, I bought First Bank at 5 naira.
Woo!
In 2017.
Are you people hearing that? 5 naira per share.
You know, this 2017 till now.
Hmm.
And as I'm looking, I'm seeing it at 129 to 128 as of today.
Whoa.
And I've been listening, seeing all you have been saying. I've listened to you talk about the HBM. And you are looking at it by this time next year, it should be like 500 naira stock. What do you think? Should I sell that first holdco and move the money, add some money, and move it to HBM?
Well. At this point, a lot of money has been made in First Holdco, and I don't think there will be any regrets whatsoever. Are you with me, sir? I said a lot of money has already been made with the First Holdco, from 5 naira per share to 128. So I don't think there will be any regrets. I don't think there will be any regrets whatsoever if you offload and buy HBM. But what about Dangote Sugar?
I have few of Dangote Sugar.
What was your price for Dangote Sugar? How much did you buy?
I got it at 68.
All right.
And topped up at 74.
Okay. All right. Do as occasion serves you. Enjoy your HBM, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody, I introduce to you an Odogu in the house. 5 naira for First Bank. He held on until it's 128. Come on, do the maths. No matter what the volume is, let me not reveal more. What if he bought 1 million First Bank at 5 naira per share? That would have been 5 million naira that time. And today it's what, 128 million naira. Thank you very much, sir. You are being celebrated already in the comments. Thank you, sir, for calling in. God bless you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, what a way to come to an end to today's live stream. We've done extra nearly 10 minutes, and it was good that you got that call. You know why? Some days ago, I was saying right here in this live stream that there was a time First Bank was selling for 5 naira. I know so many people would have been wondering, what's this man saying? Now, imagine 1 million shares. But I have a witness in the house. He just casually called in, and here we are, 5 naira per share. And if you know the pain this First Bank gave a lot of people during that time, that's the same First Bank that is now at 128. Who knows, one of your 1 million challenge stocks, which of them, after a few while, could just become something else? This is why we invest. You can never go wrong. Ladies and gents, I'll be the happiest person to see all of you succeed. And that is why I'm jetting off. As we've come to the end of July, in August, I'll be looking for investment opportunities that we will still maximize during our business and investment summit in December of this year. 6th of December, specifically in Lagos, we'll be having the wealth algorithm. It shall be a great one. Keep your ears on the ground as information will be shared to you, especially in the Discord group. If you are not following us and not in this community, you are missing a lot. Don't waste time. Follow me on Instagram. Send me a request to join the group so you don't miss out. And of course, while I'm away, I will continue to be in touch on all the platforms, especially YouTube and Facebook. You'll be seeing full reviews of market activities and what my expectations and what stocks to watch out for in the course of the whole month of August. So you are not left alone, because I'll keep my eyes in the market while gathering information from my destination. Until we meet again, same time in September, when I'll be back. This shall be the end of our live streams until September. But never mind, you will still keep getting fed with as much information and updates as possible. And of course, we've decided we're going to be funding our business and investment summit ourselves. And so account information will be shared in the group. It will not be done on a live stream on this platform, so they don't mistake us for a fake Ponzi scheme or what have you, and close down these accounts. We'll stay decent and do it in-house and be sure to have a fantastic time together. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we come to the end of today's live stream. Enjoy the rest of your evening or afternoon or day as we make our goodbyes. Thank you so much, and apologies to those whose comments I could not take because of time, and calls I couldn't, but we've got a great experience and an ecosystem that will serve us even after we retire. Ladies and gents, come to the end of today's live stream. See you again in the new series of market reviews on these platforms. Don't forget, I said 5 minutes minimum, but it will be reduced to under 3 minutes on IG, that's Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. But on Facebook and YouTube, you will get the full videos. See you again.